Phoenix Song here again with the Syntact and the Swarm. And this time a little bit of a deeper dive as I create a whole kit that includes the drums and the melodic parts, all with Swarm. So this is fun. This is a good type of sound design exercise. It's a little bit of a fool's errand because we also have such great machines for things like kick and snare, and so doing this is a little unnecessary, but when you do this, it teaches some good sound design principles. Some of the nice things about this is once you learn these type of techniques for a kick drum, you can also apply those to many other types of synths to create kick type drum sounds. So let's do a quick walkthrough of the tones that I've built up for this, and then we'll build them kind of in reverse order, showing you what the key elements are to build these. All right, let's start. All right, let's start on the kick. So we have very nice character. So let's talk about that. You usually want to have a low fundamental so you can see the sub is turned down and then the tuning is turned down all the way. And then we have a little bit of the detune at around 50 and then the mix around 80. And to create a little bit of the impact, we have some noise, not a lot, and some animation. And definitely overdrive. Let's try it without overdrive. Well, sounds about the same, just louder. To give a kick that doesn't have a lot of extra low end, you can use a high pass filter. It's counterintuitive, but what you're doing here is with the resonance up at a peak there. So let's check. Okay, about 36, about 88. That just gives it like a low boost. Let's take that away. See, it's not very. I had it like that for a while, and I was like, wait, it's not punching through much. So anyway, there gives it a lot more punch, and you could do things like the envelope. I don't think it'll work here, but cool stuff. You could P-lock that and give it some cool things going on there. Amp, no reverbs or anything like that. And this is the way to do that, because if you hear that, boom, it's like the pitch is coming down. So we have synth tune, because there is no, on some of the machines it has that pitch envelope right in the machine, especially for kicks and things like that, to give it that attack from the pitch bend, like a drum, the head of the drum being hit and it being higher, and then it releases. So instead, since we don't have that, we use the tuning of the synth, and we put the this type of LFO and in one shot mode, so it just comes in once. And the speed could vary, but I've chosen the BPM 8, and then the speed could be different, but so let's turn that down. See, that's all it'd be. It'd be like a bass note without any of this, so you'd need that to give it that kick drum like that's too much. It's around 40, 50. Oh, it's 70. Okay, so that's all there is to making a kick. You could use the same technique on many different machines to turn anything into a kick drum. The snare, I wouldn't say this is the best snare, but you know, the challenge is to make everything out of swarm. So this is what we've got. So obviously lots of noise. The animation is up pretty high to make the noise move around a bit. Detune doesn't matter too much because it's so much of a noise, and then it's high, mid, definitely has some distortion, and definitely has that decay there. The filter is important too, because without it, it would just be so high pass filter again to cut out low end here. There's less of a resonance boost here, so it's more just to cut the low end out of this. And just some reverb, tiny bit of delay, and some of this envelope here to shape it, the volume. So yeah, look at this. Again, the synth tune to create there's not much pitch here, but you still hear a little bit of that attack here, and then synth tune again with random to just create this. What it does is it creates a little more noise. That's too much, but anyway. So noise it's at I guess an audio rate here about 256. Oh yeah, and then this one I'm using a little bit of fade in, fade out. I would definitely probably prefer some of the snare machines. They have their limits too, but this is interesting character, and with some P-locks you can do some interesting things. Like, let's just listen to that in the beat real quick. Pretty cool character. Okay, and let's move on to the kind of cymbal or hi-hat sound, more of a hi-hat sound. Again, lots of noise, lots of animation. This time the tune is up way high. Got the detune and the mix up high, and then the sub is not, it's just on the fundamental. And then a short, see if you did this on the P-locks, you can use that to, that could be useful too if you wanted. So you just on the P-locks, you can modulate or control that with a P-lock in the beat to make it sound like a full open and closed hi-hat. So yeah. So what else we got? That didn't have any LFOs. That's great. Just a little amp envelope and a little bit of reverb there. Super cool. I like that one. I would actually use that. You know, maybe try some different snares or the clap machine. Okay, and this one sounds a lot like a kick, but it's trying to be one of those zappy toms. So this again, low, less noise. Oh, all the way up in animation. And so you got around 70, 75, and a moderate decay. This one I use this type of filter. A little bit of envelope there. A little bit of reverb. So this is oh, and yeah, again the synth tune doing that. It's called exponential. It's on one shot again, so play around with these. That's kind of fun. But anyway, those are some things you can play around with, depending on how zappy you want that electro tone. Okay, and then moving on to the bass. So this is a little bit more of a obvious use of Supersaw, but you can see the mix is pretty low, so it's in sub mode too, and some animation, the noise. Just more of a basic use for the Supersaw. And then the filter is LFO to, yeah, filter or LFO. So we've got, again, high pass filter, but with the LFO it goes pretty low. Okay, and not much going on here in the amp section. LFO section is just a sine wave, very slow one to give it filter sweep slowly over time. And that's all there is to that. This is more of your classic Supersaw string sound. So no distortion, no sub, light noise modulation and light detune animation, because this is more of a typical Supersaw sound. So if you play it and down low. And so this is something I've done a lot on Digitact in this, to make something without polyphony sound like it has a sort of stacked polyphony. So if you go, not too much going on there, but turn the delay way up, and because it's a beat synced delay, you often get those notes stacking in a nice way. So you can kind of create chords that way without having the chord machine there. And so a little bit of reverb, lots of delay, and then let's just check the delay settings. So we have the stereo with some width, feedback, time is about 12. So that's a nice setting. I think I tend to use that setting on the delay quite a bit. And then this sounds similar, but it's got more of that swarm, that beehive or angry bees going on here. And so the way that's done is, very low noise modulation, but pretty high of the detune animation. Yeah. And on this one, I just usually hit one note and call it good. Just drone that in the background a little bit. So this, that. Okay, and this one's kind of a cool, chaotic one to wrap things up. Okay, so this one has some noise, full animation, 88 detune, and the full mix, and then down to sub -1. Again, high pass filter. I'm loving this high pass filter for this set here. Ooh, no reverb, no delay. Does have noise modulation, LFO'd, and the filter frequency. So that's some, So that's about it. I just wanted to kind of do the challenge of making a whole kit, melodic included, out of Swarm to see what type of styles you could do. If you'd like, feel free to become a patron and support this so I can make more content like this. I'll just jam out on this. And so enjoy. If there's interest, I will build more Swarm kits that will have a little bit of different character per kit.